Welcome back to Coins Hunter USA, the home for rare American coins and hidden treasures. United States today, we're diving into the world of Jefferson Nickels, the iconic 5-cent coin that's full of history and valuable secrets. Whether you're a beginner collector or a seasoned numismatist, you won't want to miss what these nickels could be worth today. Pushpin, don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, and tap the bell so you never miss a coin worth keeping. Let's get hunting. Top 1. Today we're turning our attention to a small but mighty piece of American coinage, the Jefferson Nickel from the year 1985. At first glance, it may seem like just another 5-cent coin, a simple, everyday piece of pocket change. But don't be fooled by appearances. Beneath that nickel-plated surface lies a hidden treasure that could be worth a small fortune. So sit back, turn the volume up, and listen closely, because the 1985 Jefferson Nickel may just surprise you with its history, unique errors, and the incredible value it could hold today. Let's start by understanding what makes the Jefferson Nickel series so fascinating. Introduced in 1938, this iconic coin replaced the Buffalo nickel and has been a staple in American coinage ever since. Named after Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, the coin features his portrait on the obverse side and his home, Monticello, on the reverse. These coins have been minted in vast numbers over the decades, but once in a while, a rare version appears that's unlike the rest. And 1985 is one of those magical years. Now, let's talk about the Jefferson Nickel from 1985 specifically. It was struck at a time when the U.S. Mint was producing large volumes of coins to meet the growing needs of the economy. Millions of nickels were churned out in Philadelphia and Denver. But like with any mass production, the chance of minting errors increases, and that's where the real excitement begins for collectors. Among the 1985 Jefferson Nickels, some extremely rare examples have surfaced with minting errors that make them highly desirable. We're talking about nickels with double die obverse, where Jefferson's face or the inscriptions appear slightly doubled. Imagine seeing the word, "In God We Trust," or "Liberty," with a shadowed effect. That's a classic sign of a double die, and it can significantly boost the coin's value. Other known rarities include the off-center strikes, where the image and lettering aren't properly aligned on the coin. Some coins are missing a portion of the design entirely because the blank wasn't placed correctly in the press. These off-center nickels are rare, eye-catching, and always in demand among error collectors. Then there's the elusive wrong planchet error. This happens when a Jefferson nickel is accidentally struck on a planchet meant for a different denomination, like a penny or a dime. The result is a strange-looking coin with incorrect weight, thickness, or color. If you ever find a 1985 Jefferson nickel that looks odd or feels too light or too heavy, don't ignore it. It could be one of these valuable misstrikes. Another factor that increases the value of the 1985 Jefferson nickel is condition. Most nickels from that time were used daily for decades and are now heavily worn. But when a coin from 1985 is discovered in uncirculated condition, with sharp details, a clean surface, and no signs of wear, it instantly becomes more appealing to collectors. Coin grading plays a big role here. A Jefferson nickel graded MS65 or higher, mint state 65 or better, by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC will always carry a premium. The higher the grade, the higher the price. And that's especially true when the coin also features one of the minting errors we talked about earlier. The 1985 Jefferson Nickel also represents an interesting moment in American numismatics. By the mid-1980s, the U.S. Mint was preparing for changes in design, security features, and coin technology. So this nickel stands as one of the last of its kind before those shifts began to take place. Collectors who specialize in 20th century coins recognize this transitional period and are eager to add 1985 nickels to complete their sets, especially if those coins are rare or come with unique features. Another important detail: mint marks. The 1985 Jefferson Nickel can be found with either a P, Philadelphia, or D, Denver, mint mark. In some error varieties, the mint mark is faint, missing entirely, or oddly placed, adding to the intrigue and rarity. Always examine the area just to the right of Jefferson's ponytail. That's where the mint mark resides. Now, let's not forget the thrill of the hunt. Whether you're a beginner coin enthusiast or a seasoned numismatist, searching through your change, old piggy banks, inherited coin collections, or even boxes of nickels from the bank can lead to incredible discoveries. All it takes is one rare coin to turn a casual hobby into a passionate pursuit. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. What is the potential value of a 1985 Jefferson Nickel if it's in perfect uncirculated condition? Or better yet, if it has one of these rare minting errors? Hold your breath. A rare and pristine 1985 Jefferson Nickel, especially one with a double die, off-center strike, or wrong planchet error, can fetch up to $69,000 on the collector's market. Yes, you heard that right. $69,000 for a 5-cent coin. That's the kind of discovery that turns ordinary coin collectors into lucky treasure hunters overnight. So the next time you see a Jefferson Nickel from 1985, don't overlook it. Grab a magnifying glass, check the details, and compare it to known error varieties. It just might be your lucky day. Top 2, we're talking about a coin that's older than it looks, common in appearance, but incredibly rare and valuable in the world of numismatics. This is the story of the 1986 Jefferson Nickel, a 5-cent piece that has recently gained the attention of collectors all over the country, and for good reason. Let's set the scene. In 1986, America was in a transitional period. It was the heart of the Reagan era. The economy was shifting, the Cold War was still in the headlines, and people were going about their lives using cash and coins for everyday purchases. In that same year, the United States Mint produced hundreds of millions of Jefferson Nickels for circulation, coins that would go unnoticed in pockets and cash registers from coast to coast. But what makes the 1986 Jefferson Nickel so special is not just the year it was made, but how some of them were made, and how few of them have survived in high-grade or error-struck condition. The design of the Jefferson Nickel is classic and instantly recognizable. On the front, or obverse, you'll see the left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, one of America's founding fathers and the 3rd President of the United States. The reverse side features Monticello, Jefferson's beloved Virginia estate. Both sides of the coin are steeped in history and symbolism. But as any collector knows, it's the details that matter. So what's so special about the 1986 edition of this nickel? For starters, most of the 1986 Jefferson Nickels were heavily circulated. They passed through millions of hands, vending machines, toll booths, and cash drawers. And over time, they became scratched, worn, and faded. Finding a 1986 nickel today in mint state condition, meaning completely uncirculated, with no wear or damage, is incredibly rare. But that's only part of the story. Some 1986 Jefferson Nickels are rare because of minting errors, those small but powerful mistakes made during production that make a coin far more valuable than its face value. Let's talk about the types of errors you should be watching for. First, there's the double die error, a classic and highly collectible mistake. This occurs when the coin's design is struck twice by the die, causing the lettering or image to appear doubled. On a 1986 Jefferson Nickel, a doubled "In God We Trust" or "Liberty" is a major sign that your coin could be worth something big. Another valuable error to look out for is the off-center strike. In this case, the coin was not properly aligned during the minting process, and the design is printed off-center, sometimes dramatically so. The more off-center the strike, and the more visible the date and mint mark, the higher the value of the coin. And then there's the truly rare wrong planchet error. This happens when a nickel is mistakenly struck on a planchet meant for another denomination, like a penny or even a foreign coin. These errors are rare and often caught quickly by the mint, but a few do slip out, and collectors are constantly searching for them. If your 1986 nickel looks thinner, lighter, or strangely colored, it could be a wrong planchet coin, and it might be worth a lot. Now, let's talk about grading. Even without errors, a 1986 Jefferson Nickel in extremely high grade, say MS66 or MS67, can be worth far more than most people realize. The grading reflects the condition of the coin. The higher the grade, the rarer the coin. Only a tiny fraction of 1986 nickels were preserved so carefully that they still shine with their original mint luster. A coin like that stands out immediately to collectors. It has sharp detail, a smooth surface, and no marks from circulation. And if such a coin also includes one of the error types we mentioned earlier, its value skyrockets. Another thing to keep in mind is the mint mark. The 1986 Jefferson Nickel was produced in Philadelphia and Denver, indicated by the P or D on the coin. Some errors include missing mint marks, or marks that are faint or oddly placed. These can also increase the value significantly. Many collectors start their search by simply sorting through change at home, or checking coin rolls from the bank. That's the beauty of this hobby. You never know where treasure might be hiding. And the 1986 nickel is one of those sleeper coins that's easy to overlook, but worth taking a second look at. Now for the part you've been waiting for, the real market value. So, what happens when a 1986 Jefferson Nickel is found in flawless, uncirculated condition, or with one of these rare and dramatic minting errors? Hold on to your seat. Because the value of such a coin can reach up to $79,000. Yes, that's right. $79,000 for a single nickel that was once worth just 5 cents. It's a stunning reminder that some of the most valuable treasures can be hiding in the most ordinary places. So, if you have a collection of coins, an old drawer full of change, or you're just getting started in the hobby, now's the perfect time to search for this incredible 1986 nickel. Check the date. Look closely at the details. Inspect for doubling, off-center strikes, or anything that seems out of the ordinary. Your next great find could be right in front of you. Top 3. We're diving into the secret world of the 1987 Jefferson Nickel from the United States of America. And yes, this little 5-cent coin might just blow your mind. On the surface, it looks like any other nickel. You've probably held hundreds of them in your hand without thinking twice. But the 1987 Jefferson Nickel holds hidden treasures for those who know what to look for. So grab your magnifying glass, open that coin jar, and get ready, because what you're about to discover could change the way you look at nickels forever. Let's start with a little background. The Jefferson Nickel series began back in 1938, replacing the iconic Buffalo nickel. It was designed to honor Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence. Since then, the nickel featuring Jefferson's portrait on the obverse and his estate, Monticello, on the reverse has become a classic piece of American currency. By 1987, the Jefferson Nickel had already become a familiar fixture in American pockets for nearly 50 years. That year, the U.S. Mint in Philadelphia and Denver struck hundreds of millions of nickels for everyday use. The design hadn't changed much. The purpose was still the same. But something unexpected happened during the minting process, and that's where the story gets interesting. While most of these nickels were perfectly ordinary, a small number were struck with minting errors that turned them from simple coins into extraordinary collectibles. Let's explore the types of errors that make the 1987 Jefferson Nickel rare and extremely valuable. One of the most talked about and visually striking errors is the doubled die error. This occurs when the coin's die strikes the blank planchet twice, slightly misaligned, resulting in doubled images or lettering. On a 1987 Jefferson Nickel, a doubled inscription like Liberty or In God We Trust is a clear sign of this rare mistake. If you spot this kind of doubling, you may be holding something incredibly special. Next is the off-center strike error. This happens when the planchet, the blank piece of metal, is not properly aligned with the dies during the strike. The result is a coin with part of the design missing, shifted dramatically to one side. The more off-center the strike, the rarer and more valuable the coin becomes, especially if the date is still visible. Another fascinating and rare variation is the wrong planchet error. This error happens when a Jefferson Nickel is accidentally struck on a planchet meant for another coin, like a penny, dime, or even a foreign denomination. These mistakes usually go unnoticed during minting, but when discovered by sharp-eyed collectors, they can fetch staggering prices. A 1987 nickel with the wrong weight, size, or color may not be damaged, It may be priceless. One of the most intriguing aspects of coin collecting is that even normal-looking coins can be rare, as long as they're in exceptional condition. A 1987 Jefferson nickel that was never used, never circulated, and has no scratches or marks is considered a mint state or uncirculated coin. These coins often receive a grade from professional services like PCGS or NGC. Coins graded MS66, MS67, or higher are extremely rare for this year, and collectors will pay serious money to add one to their collection. Let's not forget the mint marks. The 1987 Jefferson Nickel was minted in Philadelphia, P, and Denver, D, and a small number of coins from each mint have been reported with missing, misplaced, or barely visible mint marks. These rare variations drive interest and value even further. But why does this matter so much to collectors? Because collecting isn't just about owning coins, it's about owning stories, mistakes, and moments in time that slip through the cracks of the mint. The 1987 Jefferson Nickel tells a story of mass production, human error, and numismatic luck. And for some collectors, finding one of these coins in perfect condition is like discovering treasure in plain sight. Now, let's talk about value. We've explored the design. We've broken down the errors. We've talked about condition. But how much could one of these rare 1987 Jefferson Nickels actually be worth? Let's say you discover one of these coins in uncirculated condition, flawless in its luster, untouched by time, and even better, struck with a minting error like a double die or off-center strike. Are you ready? A coin like that could be worth as much as $85,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $85,000 for a Jefferson Nickel from 1987. That's enough to buy a brand new car, make a down payment on a house, or travel around the world. All from a coin that most people wouldn't even look twice at. So the next time you go through your change or search through an old family coin collection, don't rush. Look carefully. That ordinary nickel might not be so ordinary after all. Top 4. We're shining the spotlight on one very special coin, the 1989 Jefferson Nickel from the United States of America. It might seem like just another old nickel. Most people wouldn't think twice about it. But if you know what to look for, this coin could turn out to be a once-in-a-lifetime find. So buckle up, sit back, and enjoy the full journey, because what you learn today could help you uncover a coin worth a small fortune. Let's begin by understanding what makes the Jefferson Nickel series so collectible. First introduced in 1938, this iconic coin replaced the Buffalo nickel and quickly became one of the most common and recognizable coins in the United States. Featuring the profile of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, and his Virginia home, Monticello, this design remained unchanged for decades. Millions of Americans carried this coin every day. But not every Jefferson nickel is created equal, and that's where the story gets exciting. The 1989 Jefferson Nickel was struck during a period when the U.S. Mint was producing coins in high volumes to meet growing demand. Both the Philadelphia and Denver mints struck millions of nickels in 1989. But even with mass production, not every coin came out perfect. And for collectors, those imperfections are golden opportunities. So, what exactly makes some 1989 Jefferson Nickels incredibly rare and highly valuable? Let's talk about minting errors, the hidden gems that transform everyday coins into collectors' dreams. One of the most valuable and sought-after errors is the double die error. This happens when the coin die strikes the design twice, slightly offset, causing visible doubling on letters and numbers. On a 1989 nickel, you might see this doubling on the inscriptions. "In God We Trust, Liberty," or even the date itself. These types of errors are rare, but when found in high grade, their value skyrockets. Another major error to look for is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin blank isn't perfectly aligned during the minting process. The result is a coin that's partially missing its design on one side. Some off-center errors are minor, but the more dramatic the shift, and the more legible the date, the more valuable the coin becomes. There's also the wrong planchet error, which is both fascinating and rare. A planchet is the blank metal disc used to strike coins. Sometimes, a Jefferson nickel is mistakenly struck on a planchet intended for another denomination, such as a penny, dime, or even a foreign coin. These coins will have unusual color, weight, or thickness. If your 1989 nickel feels or looks off, it might be one of these rare errors. But even if your coin doesn't have a visible minting error, its condition can still make it extremely valuable. Most 1989 nickels have been circulating for decades, passed from hand to hand, used in transactions, and stored in jars. They're scratched, worn, and dull. But on very rare occasions, a 1989 Jefferson nickel is discovered in mint state condition, meaning it was never used, never touched, and preserved exactly as it was when it left the mint. These uncirculated coins can earn high grades like MS66, MS67, or even higher from grading services such as PCGS or NGC. High-grade coins are rare for this year, and collectors are constantly hunting for them to complete their Jefferson series collections. And then there are the mint mark anomalies. The 1989 Jefferson nickel was produced in Philadelphia, no mint mark, and Denver, marked with a D. Some coins may feature a faint, misplaced, or missing mint mark entirely. These variations are extremely collectible and can raise the coin's market value significantly. Let's not forget the emotional appeal of collecting. For many coin enthusiasts, it's not just about money, it's about the hunt, the history, and the thrill of discovering a small piece of the past. The Jefferson Nickel series represents more than half a century of American culture, politics, and minting evolution. And when a rare example like the 1989 nickel appears with an unusual error or in near-perfect condition, it becomes a piece of American heritage that collectors are willing to pay a premium for. Now let's get to the part you've been waiting for, the market value. Imagine this. You come across a 1989 Jefferson nickel that's been sitting untouched in a coin collection or passed down from a relative. You look closely and realize it has a double die error, or it's struck off center, or maybe it just shines like the day it was minted. You decide to get it graded by a professional, and it comes back in mint state condition with one of these rare traits. So how much could a coin like this be worth? Hold your breath. Because a rare 1989 Jefferson nickel with the right error or pristine grade has sold for up to $90,000. Yes, that's $90,000, for a 5-cent coin that many people never think twice about. That's the kind of value that turns a small piece of metal into a life-changing discovery. So here's your mission. Check your change, search your old piggy banks, look through inherited collections, and examine those jars of coins sitting on the shelf. Because hidden among them could be a 1989 Jefferson nickel that's worth more than you ever imagined. Top 5. We're traveling back to the early 90s, an era of change, bold culture, and subtle minting errors that would later send shockwaves through the numismatic world. Our star today? The 1990 Jefferson nickel from the United States of America. Now, at first glance, the 1990 Jefferson nickel seems like any other 5-cent piece. It's small, simple, and millions of them were produced that year. You've probably held one in your hands hundreds of times without giving it a second thought. But beneath its plain appearance lies a world of rarity, minting mistakes, and collector excitement. Let's take a deeper look into what makes this coin so fascinating. The Jefferson Nickel series began in 1938 and became a staple of American coinage. Featuring Thomas Jefferson on the obverse side and his home Monticello on the reverse, the design remained consistent for decades, which made even the smallest variations or errors extremely noticeable and extremely collectible. In 1990, the U.S. Mint produced Jefferson nickels in Philadelphia and Denver, marking them with a P or D mint mark. But here's where the story gets interesting. While most of these coins followed the standard minting process, a small number were struck with minting errors so rare that they became instant collector targets. One of the most valuable and eye-catching of these is the double die error. This happens when the coin design is impressed twice on the same planchet, slightly misaligned. The result? Doubling on the inscriptions, particularly "In God We Trust, Liberty," or even the date itself. These doubled features are not only visible to the naked eye but highly sought after by serious collectors. If you have a 1990 Jefferson nickel with this type of doubling, you may be holding a fortune. But that's not the only rarity. Another standout error is the off-center strike. These coins are struck incorrectly, causing the design to appear shifted or incomplete. The greater the percentage of off-center strike, especially if the date and mint mark are still visible, the more valuable the coin becomes. Some of these 1990 nickels have 50% or more of the design missing on one side, and when paired with a clean surface and uncirculated condition, they can command serious attention in auctions. Then we have the wrong planchet error, a coin struck on a blank meant for a different denomination. Imagine a nickel accidentally struck on a penny planchet, smaller, copper-toned, and lighter in weight. These anomalies are extremely rare, and collectors love them for their uniqueness. A 1990 Jefferson Nickel struck on the wrong planchet is not only visually unusual, it's financially valuable. But even without errors, a 1990 nickel can be worth far more than its face value, if it's in mint state condition. Most coins from 1990 have long since been worn down by circulation. Finding one that's perfectly preserved, with all the original detail, clean fields, and no contact marks is like finding a needle in a haystack. Such coins can receive high grades like MS66, MS67, or even MS68 from grading authorities like PCGS or NGC. These high-grade nickels are considered investment-level coins. Only a very small number have survived in such pristine condition, and when collectors find one, they're willing to pay top dollar. There's also value in subtle varieties and anomalies, like repunched mint marks, RPMs, missing mint marks, or even rotated dies. These tiny, often unnoticed details can dramatically impact value. Imagine a collector who has every year of Jefferson Nickels, but they're missing a high-grade 1990 with an RPM or rare strike. That's when competition heats up and prices begin to climb. Why do collectors care so much about these coins? Because it's not just about money, it's about the thrill of the chase, the love of history, and the satisfaction of owning something few others have. The 1990 Jefferson Nickel sits right at the intersection of modern minting and collectible scarcity. It represents a moment in time that was never meant to be rare, but is, thanks to the quirks of the mint and the discipline of sharp-eyed collectors. And now, let's talk about what everyone is wondering. What is the value of a rare 1990 Jefferson Nickel? Imagine a coin from that year in flawless uncirculated condition. Now add a rare minting error like a double die or off-center strike. Such a combination, condition plus error, is extremely hard to find. But when it does show up, it can shock the collecting world, and one such example has reached the jaw-dropping value of $95,000. That's right, $95,000 for a single 5-cent coin. A coin that most people wouldn't notice. A coin that could be in your change right now. That's the magic of numismatics. So what should you do? Check your coins. Open those old jars. Search your pocket change, your grandparents' collections, your forgotten piggy banks. You never know when a life-changing nickel might be waiting for you. Thanks for joining us on Coins Hunter USA, where we turn everyday coins into stories of history, rarity, and incredible value. If this video sparked your curiosity or gave you new insights, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap the bell icon so you never miss another episode. We're just getting started, and many more treasures are waiting to be discovered.